Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel. And if you're new here, welcome. And if you're a returning visitor, welcome back. If you like this kind of content, please like, share, and subscribe. And also, please leave a comment. I would like to know what you think. Now let's begin. This story took place in the Los Angeles, California area near Culver City. And later in the video, I will also speak on how I gave her a prophetic word, which confirmed a word that she was given earlier or early on before she met me. So I put an ad out on Craigslist offering to do wig braid down services. So and basically is when you braid the hair down so you can comfortably wear a wig on your head. So this African American lady reached out to me and she wanted my services. So she came over and I did her hair. So as I was doing her hair, she began to tell me about her life story and what was going on with her and how she had been married before and how this man was like the model man. He was like the perfect guy before they got married. And when they got married, he changed up on her, suddenly left, and then he married someone else. So now this situation left her being a single parent. So as she was telling me this, the Lord told me that this woman had this issue of judging people who are single parents. So then I asked her about it. I said, hey, do you judge people who are single parents? Is that something that you do? And she confessed to me that, yes, she was judging people who were single parents. And so I told her that perhaps that's the reason why she was going through what she was going through and now is a single parent herself. And I told her this is something that the Lord was revealing to me while I was standing there doing her hair. So back to what I was saying about giving her a prophetic word. So I gave her a prophetic word about, her future and stuff like that. And she just started crying. She was like, that was the same word someone gave to her. I want to say a couple of years ago or, not too long before then. And here it is. She didn't know me from Adam. And here I gave her the same word. And so it was confirmation for her and stuff like that. And I thought that was great. So our relationship kind of blossomed from there and so on. Fast forward, some time had went by, I mean a little bit of time, like some weeks went by, and she had a dream. And she told me what her dream was. And I told her what I got from the dream. And I told her that it meant something, it had something to do with her kids, and that she was going to end up losing her kids if she didn't get out of the situation that she was in. Now, she lived by herself. She had her own apartment. But I knew she had to move out of that apartment if she did not want to lose her kids. And come to find out, she had been having issues with people in that housing that she was in. I don't remember everything that she told me about it, but she was having some issues. Um, but I don't remember the issues ever having anything to do with her kids. But I knew that dream meant somehow she was going to lose her kids. But I didn't connect where she lived so far as the people at her apartments being part of the issue. I just knew that she needed to move out of where she was living. So I told her that she had to do it so soon that she might want to get out of there within the next 24 hours or she's really risking losing her kids. So she decided to kind of take me up on that. I think she was reluctant, but she took me up on that a little bit. I will explain what I mean by that. So I told her, hey, you could come stay with me. Now, she had other family members, but I guess that was kind of a no-go for her at the time. And she didn't have the best relationship with her mother. So I told her, yeah, you come stay with me. But I told her, hey, instead of you going home tonight, I'll come over, help you pack your stuff, but I told her I wanted her to stay in the hotel for the first night, let me get things prepared, and then she can come the next day. And she was like, well, no, I'd rather just go ahead and stay the night tonight at your place. I said, well, no. I mean, I told her I was going to pay for the hotel and everything. But she was just adamant of, well, let me just stay the night here tonight. Now, my intention was, listen, I have a husband. I have a whole family. And not only did I need to prepare a place for her, but also I wanted to make sure my husband was taken care of because I am now moving a single woman into my place. So I wanted to make sure he was straight, for those of you who know what I mean. So I wanted to give us one additional night before we move a total stranger into our house because in a way she was a stranger and she was another woman. I think she somehow figured that's what I was thinking, even though I didn't tell her that. And it was almost like she had this attitude like she didn't care. But I still remain adamant about, hey, let's give it one additional day. So I went ahead, found a nice hotel for her, paid for her hotel and everything. And she just kind of had an attitude, which I didn't understand because I was trying to help her. And I don't really think that she took the warning seriously. She did, but it's almost like she didn't. But let's say she did because she did act on it. So I could be wrong on that. But the bottom line is she had an attitude and I didn't like it. So the next morning, or I think it was the later on that evening, no, it was the next morning. I called her while she was at the hotel room and I felt like it was bad timing. I felt like the Lord was showing me, no, this is not the time, but I believe in getting things off your chest and not holding on to grudges. So the best way to do that is to deal with it when it comes up. But it's always best to listen to the Lord. So let me explain why I felt like she didn't take my warning seriously. It's because what she did next is what was alarming. And there was a consequence for that. So back to talking to her. So I kind of checked her the next morning and I was just like, hey, in so many words told her I really didn't like her attitude and so on and so forth. But I was nice about how I talked to her about it. A matter of fact, I think it was that night. It was that night I talked to her. And so I just told her, look, I didn't like her attitude, so on and so forth. But like I said, I was nice about it. I wasn't mean. I wasn't going off of her. But I just was letting her know, hey, your attitude wasn't cool. And so I thought we was okay. We worked it out. I felt like I dealt with it in a decent way. I wasn't, like I said, wasn't being mean about it. At least I didn't feel like I was. So then the next morning, she calls me and says, well, I decided that I'm just gonna go and stay with my mom. I'm gonna go back home and I guess finish whatever she was gonna do there. And then she said, I guess that upcoming weekend she was gonna go stay with her mom and she didn't want to stay with us after all, and or wasn't going to after all. And I could sense that she felt like she was hurting my feelings. Like she felt like um, she was getting revenge on me by not allowing me to help her. And some people, they think like that. It's kind of a twisted thinking. And maybe she thought because I just really wanted to help and so on and so forth that she was hurting me in some way. And I'm like, okay. And the type of heart that I have, I feel like the more the merrier. So I don't mind really letting someone come stay with me and us being like a family. That is the type of heart I have. And so I guess she picked up on that and just felt like, okay, well, I hurt you by not coming to stay with you. But whoa, did she pay a price for that? She ended up going back home and she ended up losing her kids. Now, I didn't see her lose her kids with my own two eyes. I wasn't there to witness it. But let me explain how I figured this out. So the girl just completely cut me off and I hadn't heard from her no more and I knew something was wrong. And so you know how like you get that discernment, you get those senses. And so I was trying to contact her, reach out to her. She wouldn't talk to me. And at one point, we ended up talking. It was brief though. And she was trying to tell me she was okay and didn't stay on the phone long. And so she was saying, hey, she was okay. Everything was fine, but I could not hear her kids in the background. There was no noise. And so I was like, okay. And then as time went on, um, I even reached out by text, no response, but I somehow knew that her kids had been taken. And a couple of years later, I sent her another text and I said, did you ever get your sons back? And it was enough to get her so mad that she broke her silence. And she went off on me. Boy, did she go off on me. But then that's when I knew that not only did she lose her kids, but she never got them back. Now, that has been a little while since then, maybe, like a few years since then. But there's this old saying that if you dig a ditch or if you dig a grave for someone else, you better dig two because you may fall into it yourself. So that's pretty much what happened with this girl. I think she was operating in some type of jealousy towards me as well, and it's probably why she acted the way she did. And in her heart and mind, she felt like she was hurting me because she could see that I had the heart to help her. And sometimes people can take that for granted, and she just thought she would upset me or get back at me because I talked to her about her attitude. And I thought I was nice about it and that we reached an understanding, but instead of her being mature about it, this is how she handled it, and then she paid a terrible price for it. And, well, I guess what would be terrible if something actually happened to her kids, which I'm sure nothing has happened to her kids, but she did pay an awful price for it. So I'll say awful, not terrible. But the moral of the story is if somebody's trying to help you, even if you don't agree with the way they help you, you know, just either don't take the help or accept how they're doing it or make suggestions. And if they still want to do it their way, then so on and so forth. But never take someone's kindness for granted. Don't sit up there and try to hurt someone that you clearly see has a good heart towards you and wants to help you. Because maybe you may not like the way they're doing it or whatever the case may be. Be a good person and try to do your best to do right by others. But anyway, that's my video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and goodbye for now.